Hello everyone. Hi, how are you doing? I hope everyone is doing good. So welcome to another video of respiration and circulation. In previous video, we were talking about the external structure of heart. Now in this video, we will be talking about the internal structure of heart. So let's begin. Talking about when we begin with discussing the internal structure of the heart, we know that the heart inside is more or less like a hollow structure. Okay, so this hollow structure is divided into four parts, or you can say four cavities or four chambers. Sorry, in four chambers. Okay, so you have two upper chambers and two lower chambers. The upper chambers are known as auricles, and the lower chambers are known as ventricles. Okay, auricles or another name is atrium also. Atrium, sorry, this R is not there. Atrium is also there. Okay, and the lower chambers are known as ventricles. The upper ones, this is the upper one, so they are known as atrium or auricles, and the lower ones are known as ventricles. Okay, I will just display the this. So we will begin with, so you have the right side and the left side. So you have the right side, right atrium and right ventricle, left atrium and left ventricle. So this side will be your right side. Okay, so first we will discuss the right ones. So the right atrium is this. Yes, you can see the labeling over here. So right atrium is thin walled, as you can see. The lining, the thickness of this muscle, the myocardium is thin as compared to, you can see the ventricles. They have a thick lining. You can see these cells. They have a thick lining. Okay, whereas auricles, you see, they are thin. The wall is very thin. So thin wall, smaller in size as compared to the ventricles. They receive what? Deoxygenated blood. Remember, we saw this in the external structure. What is this? This is your superior vena cava. Superior vena cava is bringing deoxygenated blood from the upper half of the body. So it will empty the deoxygenated blood into this right auricle. Okay, so it will receive, this right auricle will receive blood from the superior vena cava. Which blood? Deoxygenated blood. Okay, yes. So basically, now this uh, deoxygenated blood is returned to the heart from the body. Then the right ventricles, what? So once the auricles receives the deoxygenated blood, they will give it to the ventricle. So right atrium will empty its deoxygenated blood into the ventricle. Okay, like this. So the blood which empties over here, brought by the superior vena cava, is brought into auricle. Now auricle will send it to the ventricle, this portion over here. So this is your right ventricle. This is your right ventricle. They are large, thick walled, and what they receive the deoxygenated blood coming from the auricle, and they will then give it to the lungs. They will give it to the lungs for oxygenation. So they will pump this deoxygenated blood to the lungs, to the lungs. Okay, so they will pump it to the lungs via this, you can see. Okay, like this. Fine. So this is your right ventricle. Some other color, just go away. Yeah. Now moving to the next part, left atrium. So this is your left atrium. Okay, this is your left atrium auricle. They are again thin walled, smaller in size. What are they receiving? They are, see, from this, from backside. So the blue ones, right? They are receiving oxygenated blood from the lungs. Sorry, this one. They are receiving oxygenated blood from the lungs. Okay. So here oxygenated blood will come from the lungs. So this is about the right atrium, the left atrium, the right auricle receiving deoxygenated blood, and the left auricle receiving oxygenated blood from the lungs. Now, since the left auricle is receiving oxygenated blood, what will the left ventricle do? Left ventricle will also get the oxygenated blood. Okay, so it will pass down, and now this left ventricle will pump it to the other parts of the body. It will give it to the aorta, and aorta will pump it to different parts of the body. So the left ventricle, this is the left ventricle. Okay, this is the right ventricle. Left ventricle is larger. It is having the thickest wall, okay, because it is pumping blood to different parts of the body, so it has to be under certain pressure. So the pressure will be greater as compared to of the blood in this chamber as compared to the rest of the three chambers. Okay, so from here the blood will be pumped to the aorta, and then aorta will carry it to different parts of the body. So left ventricle is having the oxygenated blood. Okay, so these are the four chambers, and they are respective blood which they receive and they pump. Okay, moving forward to the valves of the blood, sorry, of the heart. So you have four valves over here, as you can see. I'll just mark it. So you have the semilunar valve over here, one valve over here, the pulmonary valve over here. Okay, then one valve over here, which is known as the tricuspid valve, and another valve over here, which is known as the bicuspid valve. Okay, so these are the four valves that you need to know. Fine. So it has four valves, arterioventricular valves. Yes, between atria and ventricles. So you can see the atria and the ventricles. These are known as AV valves. Okay, between the atria and the or the auricles and the ventricles. Okay, so you have two valves which comes between the atria and the ventricles, which is the bicuspid valve and the tricuspid valve. By two flap, like two doors, and tricuspid means three doors. Okay, so three doors together will make a valve. Then you have the semilunar valves on the upper side. You can see they lie between the ventricles and they are attached to vessels. Okay, so here are the semilunar valves. They include the pulmonary semilunar valve also and aortic semilunar valve also. Now, what is their structure and what is the function? We will see in a short while. This is just listing the valves and where are they present. So arterioventricular valves are the ones which are present between the auricles and the ventricles. So the tri and the bicuspid valves, and semilunar valves are over here. So it will have the pulmonary, the lungs, the blood vessel which take oxygenated and deoxygenated blood to the lungs. So pulmonary semilunar valves, and also the blood which is taken to the aorta to be distributed in different parts of the body. So aortic semilunar valve also. We will take this up one by one. Okay, we are going to take this up one by one. So you have the tricuspid valve. Okay, now we will just erase this, and now we focus on this tricuspid valve. Okay, where is this? Over here. So where it is at the right arterioventricular junction or the orifice. So this is the right side of the heart. This is the right side of the heart, and this is the left side of the heart. So on the right side, between the opening or between the junction of the auricle and ventricle, this is the auricle and this is your ventricle. Right? So here is your tricuspid valve. Function is prevent blood from moving where backward, right? From the right ventricle to the right atrium during ventricular contraction. So as we know, this superior vena cava is bringing deoxygenated blood into auricle. Auricle is emptying the blood into ventricle. Ventricle will now give it to this, to the pulmonary trunk. Okay. So when the contraction is happening, when the ventricle is sending blood to the direction, upward direction, the blood should not flow back into the auricle. The blood should not flow back into the auricle, rather it should go into the pulmonary trunk. Okay, so to prevent the backflow of the blood, the door should be closed. So that door is basically guided, that opening and closing is guided by this tricuspid valve. So preventing the backflow of the blood moving from right ventricle into the right auricle. So the blood should not move in this direction. Okay, once it has come in this direction, it should not flow backwards. So to prevent this backward flow, tricuspid valve is carrying its function. Okay, then the pulmonary valve, which you can see over here. What is the function of the pulmonary valve? It is at the entrance of the pulmonary trunk. So at the entrance, you can see over here. It prevents the blood from moving from the pulmonary trunk into the right ventricle during coronary relaxation. So the blood which came from here to here, okay, will now go from here to here. You can see the arrow. So again, it should not come backward. Again, it should not come backward just in the case over here. So this backward flow is prevented by this wall, pulmonary wall, which is also known as semilunar, pulmonary semilunar wall. Understanding? So this backflow again from this direction should be prevented. So that prevention from moving from pulmonary trunk into the right ventricle is prevented via pulmonary wall during relaxation. So when relaxation happens, so it should not come back. Okay. Moving to the next, so this is about the tricuspid and the pulmonary wall. I hope you have understood. If you have not understood, make a note of it. You can ask me. Okay. Then moving to the left side of the heart. Just clear this. So you have two walls over here. This is yeah. This is your right side. Let me just write it. This is your left side. Now we are focusing on the bicuspid valve, and we will focus on the aortic semilunar valve. This bicuspid valve is also known as mitral valve. It is also known as mitral valve. Okay, where it is on the left side at the junction of the auricle. This is your auricle. This is your ventricle. Okay, so at the left side and in the opening you can see, yeah, what is it doing? Again, the same function, preventing backflow of the blood from the left ventricle to the left auricle. Okay, during ventricular contraction. Similar function to tricuspid valve, the mitral valve is carrying the same function. So when the oxygenated blood comes from auricle into the ventricle, and when the ventricle is pumping to the aorta during contraction, it should not go into this chamber. So to prevent that, mitral valve is doing the work. And then you have the aortic wall over here, similar at the entrance of the aorta. So this is your largest artery, aorta. So at the entrance, you have the aortic semilunar wall. Okay, what is it doing? Again, it is preventing the backflow into the ventricle. So prevents the blood from flowing from aorta into the left ventricle during ventricular relaxation. So when this is relaxing, the blood should not come back to the ventricle. So that is prevented by this aortic semilunar wall. So basically these valves are doing what? These valves are preventing the backflow of the blood from which they entered. So in that sense, the blood should not flow backwards. Right? So this is the summary, like all the labelings that we have discussed up till now with respect to the external and internal opening and external and internal structures, blood vessels. So superior vena cava, right pulmonary artery, you can see this is the aorta, this is the valve, pulmonary valve over here. Okay, right auricle, right ventricle, right left auricle, and left ventricle. Okay, you can see the septum. This is the septum. This is the divider. Okay, which divides the heart into these two chambers, left and right. This is the inferior vena cava. Okay, you have the another valve over here, or bicuspid valve, the pulmonary veins, pulmonary trunk over here, left pulmonary here. Now you can see two more labelings over here, which is chordae tendineae and papillary muscles. So these white structures, these are inelastic fibers. Here also you can see these white structures which is holding these muscles. Okay, these muscles are known as these papillary muscles. So they are joining these papillary muscles to the walls over here, and eventually the auricle and the ventricle. Basically, this chordae tendineae, these are inelastic fibers. They attach the papillary muscles and they guide the opening and closing of these valves. So together they function as the guiding, structures for opening and closing your papillary muscles and the chordae tendineae. Okay, let's have a recap of all whatever we have discussed, the external and internal structure, with this video.
Has four chambers. The two upper chambers are the atria, and the two lower chambers are the ventricles. The interatrial septum separates the two atria, and the interventricular septum is the partition between the two ventricles. The right atrium and right ventricle are connected through a tricuspid valve. As the name suggests, it has three leaflets or cusps. On the other side, the left atrium and ventricle are connected through a bicuspid valve. The bicuspid valve is also called the mitral valve because of its resemblance to a bishop's two-sided mitre or hat. The leaflets of these atrioventricular valves are connected to fibrous tissue called the chordae tendineae, which in turn are attached to papillary muscles. Contraction and relaxation of these muscles make the valves open and close. There are also valves at the opening of the pulmonary trunk and the aorta. These are called the pulmonary valve and the aortic valve, respectively. Because of their crescent moon shape, these two valves are also called semilunar valves. The characteristic double-up sound of the heartbeat is produced during the closing of the heart valves. The thickness of the walls of the four heart chambers varies with their functions. The walls of the atria are thinner than those of the ventricles, as the blood needs to be pumped into adjacent ventricles only. The left ventricle pumps blood a greater distance at higher pressure. Therefore, the wall of the left ventricle is thicker than that of the right ventricle. The sinoatrial node, atrioventricular node, bundle of HIS and Purkinje fibers represent the specialized cardiac tissue. These fibers are autoexcitable as they have the potential to generate electrical activity without any external stimuli. This makes the heart beat continuously.
So that's all. On an internal structure of the heart.
The human heart has four chambers.
Okay, so in the next video, we will be talking about the conduction system of the heart. So up till now, we have completed the external and internal structure of heart. Now we will see how the pumping action of the heart takes place. So that is how in which we will be talking under the heading of conducting system of heart. So thank you all of you. Take care. Bye bye. See you in the next video.